Remarrying after 65. 6. Truths you must know before saying I do again. Have you ever caught yourself wondering, should I say yes to love again? Remarrying in your 60s or even later is a whole different journey than when you were younger. It's not just about finding companionship anymore. It's about navigating life with deeper experiences, more responsibilities, and sometimes more at stake. Whether you've been single for years, recently gone through a divorce, or are adjusting to life after losing a partner, stepping into marriage again brings its own set of questions and challenges. And the truth is, there are certain realities about late life remarriage that many people overlook until they're already in it. In this video, we're revealing 6 eye-opening truths you absolutely need to know before saying I do again after 60. These insights might just reshape the way you think about love, commitment, and long-term well-being at this stage in your life. Far too often, people enter remarriage hoping it will be simple, only to discover hidden stress, family complications, or financial setbacks they weren't prepared for. But with the right understanding, you can make a thoughtful, informed choice that leads to greater peace, emotional security, and real connection. So stay with us through the end, because truth number 6 is something rarely discussed, but it can make or break your happiness in a second marriage. Whether you're seriously considering tying the knot or just exploring the idea of companionship later in life, this video is for you. Let's dive in. Starting with truth number 1, daily routines. Small differences, big consequences. By the time we reach our 60s, we're no longer swept up in the rush of youth. Instead, we've settled into a rhythm, familiar, steady, and comforting. Some of us wake up early to enjoy a quiet cup of tea. Others stay up late, winding down with the soft hum of a radio or a favorite TV show. Some prefer simplicity in meals and routine, while others embrace spontaneity and adventure. These little habits may seem insignificant, but they are the ways we preserve our inner peace, how we stay connected to who we are in a world that never stops changing. But when you remarry, you're inviting someone else into that carefully balanced world. Along with their love, they bring their own routines, rhythms, and expectations. And if those aren't clearly discussed and understood early on, what begins as small differences can quietly grow into tension. First, it's a little discomfort, then quiet compromise. Eventually, it becomes a constant sense of emotional fatigue, until both people start to feel less like themselves and more like guests in each other's lives. It's not because there's a lack of love, but because love alone can't always bridge unspoken gaps. Take Frank, for example. At 71, he found joy in quiet evenings with a book, listening to the soft night breeze through his window. After remarrying Alice, a warm-hearted, outgoing woman who thrived on social gatherings and late-night energy, his world shifted. The late-night TV, the frequent visitors, the lively dinner conversations, all these things chipped away at the calm sanctuary he'd built for himself. Frank loved Alice deeply, but over time, he found himself retreating from his own space, surrendering it to a noise that didn't feel like home. According to Dr. Linda Waite, a sociology expert from the University of Chicago, compatibility and lifestyle, not money, not even how long you've known each other, is one of the strongest predictors of long-term happiness in later life marriages. And it makes sense. At this stage of life, we're not looking for someone to build with from scratch. We're looking for someone to walk beside us without stepping all over what we've already built. So before you remarry, take a moment to ask yourself, how much personal time do I need each day? Which habits am I willing to adjust and which are non-negotiable? More importantly, does this person truly see and respect those boundaries? Talk about the real stuff. Daily schedules, eating preferences, personal space, evening routines. Because real happiness doesn't come from romantic words or grand gestures. It comes from the quiet assurance that even with someone beside you, you still feel like yourself. And here's a truth that may be hard to admit. If someone makes you give up too much of who you are, so much that you no longer recognize yourself, maybe they're not the right person to start your next chapter with. On the other hand, if you believe a partner must conform to your every habit without question, that too needs reflection. Marriage, at any age, is still a balance of give and take. It still requires kindness, flexibility, and a willingness to meet in the middle. What about you? Are you living in a way that makes you feel light, grounded, and at peace? And if you're considering remarriage, which part of your daily life do you want to protect most? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because your story might be exactly what someone else needs to make a wiser choice tomorrow. Have you ever experienced something like this? If this message gave you a new perspective, please hit like to support Golden Wise Elders, a channel dedicated to exploring the most meaningful years of our lives with wisdom and heart. Don't Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with someone you care about, because sometimes a single video can truly change the direction of a life. Truth number 2. Legal matters and rights. Not knowing the law can cost you everything. At age 67, Eleanor, a widow, reconnected with an old friend from high school. They picked up their friendship over quiet coffee chats, discovered shared values, and soon after decided to get married. For Eleanor, this wasn't a rushed romance. At her age, she believed she had enough life experience and emotional maturity to begin again, not with fantasies, but with a desire for peaceful companionship. And she was right, except for one thing. Love can't fill the gaps left by overlooked legal details. After a simple wedding, Eleanor moved in with her new husband. Everything felt fine, until 1 year later when she suddenly passed away from a stroke. The heartbreak didn't end there. Even though Eleanor had carefully written a will to leave her assets to her 2 adult children, she had never updated her legal documents after remarrying. According to her state's laws, her new husband automatically became her primary heir, and all of her assets were legally transferred to him. Her children, who loved her dearly, received nothing from the estate she had worked so hard to build. This is a hard truth. Marriage at any age is a legal contract. And if you don't understand the law, you could lose far more than money. You could lose trust, fairness, and even your most important relationships. A study by the American Bar Association found that 38% of people who remarry after 60 never update their wills or healthcare proxy documents, leading to conflicts over inheritance, medical decisions, or estate plans, causing stress, division, and emotional damage within families. The truth is, once you remarry, your previous legal arrangements may no longer be valid. Your heirs, your healthcare decisions, your legal representatives, all of that can automatically change. And if you're not prepared, you may unintentionally leave your children feeling betrayed over a piece of paperwork you never got around to updating. So what can you do? First, sit down with a trusted attorney or financial advisor, someone familiar with your state's laws. Update your will to clearly reflect your current wishes. Create an advance directive to name the person you trust to make medical decisions if needed. And if it's appropriate, consider signing a prenuptial agreement. Not because of mistrust, but because it protects what you've built and creates peace of mind for both of you. Most importantly, talk openly with your children or loved ones. Let them know that remarrying doesn't mean you're forgetting them. It means you're choosing to live your life fully, with preparation, with intention, and with love. And what about you? Are you confident that your legal documents truly reflect your wishes, especially if one day you can no longer speak for yourself? If you've ever known someone who lost everything or left behind painful confusion because they didn't update their legal paperwork after remarriage, share that story. Together, we can help others learn the lesson before it's too late. Truth number 3, finances. One mistake can disrupt your entire retirement. If Eleanor's story reminded us that love must be safeguarded by legal clarity, then this next truth is a wake-up call about just how fragile your retirement finances can be, and how one seemingly simple decision like remarrying could unravel everything you've spent decades planning. Patricia, age 68, is a case that's hard to forget. After divorcing at 61, she lived independently, budgeted wisely, and relied on Social Security benefits tied to her late ex-husband's work record. She had everything figured out. Her house was paid off, her pension was steady, and life, though modest, was hers to control. But when she remarried at 68, no one warned her that saying "I do" again would instantly revoke those Social Security benefits. The consequences came quickly. Her total income dropped, her taxes changed, and expenses went up. Patricia soon had to dip into her retirement accounts earlier than planned just to keep up. She once thought love was a reward for her years of solitude, but now she admits, "I should have done more homework, not because I didn't trust him, but because I didn't protect myself." You see, marriage isn't just the joining of 2 hearts. It's the merging of 2 financial systems, 2 credit histories, 2 approaches to spending, saving, and debt. And if you don't fully understand the laws or the long-term consequences, you could unintentionally put yourself and your spouse in a financially vulnerable position. According to research from AARP, 1 in 4 people who remarry after 60 don't realize how seriously it can impact critical benefits like Social Security payments based on a previous spouse's record, pension, and survivor benefits, access to retirement accounts like IRAs or 401ks, or even new financial obligations if their partner carries personal debt. To complicate matters, in many states, Even if you and your spouse keep separate accounts, the law may still treat any wealth accumulated during the marriage as joint property, unless you have a clearly defined legal agreement. That can affect everything from inheritance rights to asset division in case of divorce or death. So how can you protect yourself? Don't shy away from having honest financial conversations before marriage. Ask questions like, do you have any outstanding debts? Are you receiving any retirement benefits? What are your monthly expenses? How do you feel about keeping joint or separate accounts? And most importantly, work with an independent financial advisor who can help you evaluate the full financial implications of remarrying. Taxes, income, healthcare coverage, and retirement benefits. In fact, many experts recommend that older couples consider alternatives like cohabitation or maintaining separate residences with legal protections so you can preserve your assets and entitlements. Have you ever known someone who took a financial leap for love and paid the price later? And what would you do if you discovered that a heartfelt decision was quietly undoing the stability you worked so hard to create? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might just help someone else pause and think before making the same mistake. If you found this insight valuable, give it a like, subscribe to Golden Wise Elders, and send this video to someone who's preparing to take another shot at love after 60. Sometimes the right perspective at the right moment can help them protect more than just money. It can help them protect their peace. Truth number 4. Family and children. Love is between two people, but life involves everyone. If financial concerns are what snap you into practical thinking, then family, especially children, often stirs something deeper, a quiet sigh. Because family dynamics aren't just logical, they touch the past, the bonds of love and connections that have been forming for decades. And sometimes, even with the best intentions, they're more fragile than we think. You might believe, getting remarried is my personal decision. But the truth is, every choice you make can ripple through the emotional lives of those around you, especially your children. Take the story of Susan, 66. After 12 years of living alone since her husband passed away, she met Raymond, a calm, thoughtful man who loved reading and gardening just like she did. Their connection grew slowly, warmly, sincerely. But when Susan told her children about her decision to remarry, everything changed. The same children who had always encouraged her to live fully were suddenly resistant. They feared she'd be taken advantage of. They worried the new man would alter her will or disrespect the memory of their father. Susan was heartbroken. What she thought was a gift, a love later in life, had instead created distance between her and the people she loved most. It's something many people overlook when they consider remarriage after 60. You're not just marrying a person, you're stepping into their family and bringing yours with you. At this stage in life, relationships are rarely simple. You may have adult children, grandchildren, or even memories tied to a spouse who's no longer here. Your new partner likely has their own family ties and emotional history too. Bringing someone new into that family ecosystem isn't just a simple blend. It's a delicate transition that requires empathy, patience, and a great deal of love. According to family therapist Dr. Susan Brown, negative reactions from adult children aren't always rooted in selfishness or opposition. Often they stem from fear. Fear of losing their connection with you, fear of having to share an inheritance, fear that they'll no longer be a priority in your life. Sometimes resistance comes not from rejection, but from a deep love for the parent they once shared with someone now gone. So, how do you navigate this emotional terrain? Start by being transparent. Share your relationship openly, not to ask permission, but to allow your children time to understand, adjust, and accept. Listen to their concerns with grace. And if possible, create opportunities for the two families to get to know one another in a relaxed, respectful setting. If there are things you want to preserve, like emotional closeness with your children, or clarity about what you wish to leave behind, put them into words. Speak them out loud. Write them down. Make your intentions known, because transparency is the bridge between two seemingly incompatible worlds. Most importantly, remember this. You don't have to choose between your children and a new love. You're allowed to have both, as long as you lead with kindness, communication, and a commitment to harmony. Love in later life shouldn't drive generations apart. It should be an opportunity for them to grow closer through understanding. And what about you? If one day you choose to remarry, what will you say to your children first? What do you hope they'll feel about your new chapter? Share your answer in the comments below. Your insight may be exactly what someone else needs to bring peace into their own family story. Truth number 5. Emotions. Marriage won't heal the loneliness inside. Margaret, age 73, once said something that stayed with me. I didn't feel most alone when I lived by myself. I felt most alone when I was next to someone who didn't truly understand me. Her words were quiet, but powerful. And they speak a truth that many who've remarried after 60 have come to realize. Having a partner doesn't automatically mean the loneliness disappears. The longer we live, through losses, separations, aging, and self-discovery, we begin to learn something. Loneliness isn't about being alone. It's about whether the person beside you truly sees you, all of you, or simply sees a reflection of their own needs. Many people walk into second marriages hoping that companionship will fill the void left by years of solitude. But after the laughter fades, after the novelty wears off, they begin to see it clearly. If you haven't made peace with yourself first, no one else can fill that space for you. The loneliness doesn't vanish, it simply changes shape. According to the Harvard Study of Adult Development, an 85-year-long research project on happiness, one of its core findings is this: close relationships help people live longer and feel happier, but not just any relationship. The wrong relationship can make you feel lonelier than being alone. So here's the most important emotional truth about remarriage. Before you search for someone to share your loneliness, ask yourself, have you learned how to face and heal it on your own? Ask yourself honestly, can I be happy when I'm alone? Do I know how to bring joy to my own life? Am I choosing someone because I truly cherish them, or because I'm afraid of the silence in my home? Don't enter a relationship because you want someone to shop with, watch TV with, or sit beside at dinner, because physical presence is not the same as emotional connection. Be cautious of those who rush in to rescue you from emptiness. If they're drawn to the weaker version of you, not the whole you, then eventually you may feel even more disconnected than before. But if you've taken the time to love yourself, if you found peace in the quiet moments, then love becomes something different. It's no longer a lifeline, it becomes a gift. And when that happens, you enter marriage not out of fear, but out of fullness, not to escape loneliness, but to celebrate companionship. So what about you? Are you truly feeling lonely in your heart, or are you simply slowing down to hear your inner voice more clearly? Do you believe that someone who feels whole on their own is better prepared to love deeply and rightly? Share your story, or just one honest reflection, in the comments below. Because we believe that people who have walked through loneliness are often the ones who know best how to comfort others, gently and truly. And if this message makes you think of someone, family, friend, or even yourself, please give this video a like, share it, and subscribe to Golden Wise Elders. We're not just building an audience, we're building a community of kindred spirits, people who are choosing to live the most meaningful years of life with courage, clarity, and compassion. Truth number 6, real happiness in later life is knowing yourself, not following someone else's script. At 82 years old, Martin and Evelyn, best friends for 25 years, decided to live together without getting married. They took morning walks, read books under the trees, talked late into the night, and yet they each kept their own apartment. When asked why they didn't just make it official, Martin smiled and said, "We don't need to be like anyone else. We just need to be ourselves and be happy in our own way." That's what growing older is about. It's no longer a time to catch up with others or to prove anything. It's a time to listen to yourself honestly, live simply but deeply, and choose what truly brings you peace. And yet so many people in their 60s or 70s still feel trapped by invisible expectations, those quiet voices that say, at your age, you should remarry to avoid loneliness. You should live this way or that way to be happy. And just like that, they begin shaping their lives around society's formula, not their own heart's truth. Some marry because they fear gossip. Some walk away from love because they worry what the grandkids will think. Others stay with someone who isn't right for them just to avoid eating dinner alone. But when the day ends, they still feel hollow, still feel like something important is missing. That missing piece? Being in tune with themselves. You see, real happiness never comes from living up to someone else's standards. It only comes when you're brave enough to live in alignment with your own needs, desires, and boundaries, without shame, without pretending, without trying to please everyone. You can live apart and still love deeply. You can have a formal wedding or just hold hands on the weekends. You can travel solo or grow tomatoes together on the porch. What matters isn't the structure, it's the feeling. Do you feel like you're being true to yourself? Because happiness in later life doesn't depend on whether someone is beside you. It depends on whether you're living from a place of truth, your truth. So if today you find yourself standing at a crossroads, wondering whether to remain single or step into a new relationship, ask yourself, what truly makes me feel whole? Am I living according to others' expectations or my own heartfelt desires? Do I have the courage to live the life I believe in for me? Share your reflections in the comments. Your story could offer comfort to someone else, someone also navigating what happiness means after 60. And if something in today's message touched your heart, leave a little heart emoji below, like a quiet promise to yourself. I'm on the journey to becoming the calmest, truest version of me. You know something? Growing older isn't a downhill slope. It's another kind of summit, a place where you pause, take in the full view of your life and quietly ask yourself, how do I want to live the years I have left? And if you've stayed with me this far, I know you're not just looking to get through life. You want to live deeply, authentically, and meaningfully. Together, we've uncovered 6 truths, some difficult, all necessary. That differences in daily routines can create quiet cracks in a relationship. That loving without understanding the law can cost you your legacy and your peace. That finances don't hold up on their own without careful stewardship. That family is an emotional ecosystem. You're never just marrying one person. That loneliness isn't cured by a marriage certificate. It must be understood and healed from within. And finally, that true happiness doesn't come from having someone next to you. It comes from being yourself and feeling safe and content in that truth. Maybe you're standing at the edge of a new chapter, holding someone's hand, or maybe you're simply sitting quietly on an old wooden bench, watching the sunset and wondering, is it still possible to fall in love again? I want to tell you something from the deepest place in my heart. You don't have to live like anyone else. You don't have to chase expectations, dodge judgment, or live by someone else's rules. You just have to listen to you because only you know what you need. Only you know what you truly deserve. If this video touched something inside you, leave a comment. Not for me, for yourself. Let it be your quiet declaration. I'm ready to live for me, with clarity, with peace, and with love. Share this video with a friend, a sister, a parent, or someone you know is silently struggling with doubts, carrying dreams they've buried too long. And if you'd like to keep walking this journey with us, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. So every week, when you open YouTube, there's a gentle voice waiting for you. From golden wise elders, not loud, not fast, just small pieces of real life, but strong enough to hold you steady and soft enough to stay in your heart. Because not everyone needs a grand adventure. Sometimes all we need is a quiet seat, a kind message, and someone who gets us. See you in the next video. And if today you just needed someone to tell you, you're okay, you're on the right path, then let this be that message.